Welcome back to On the Beaten Track with me, your host, Rehana. Thank you for everybody who has joined, subscribed, shared, and interacted with the videos that I've put out so far. Please continue, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe on the video wherever you are watching this, and make sure that you don't miss an upload from me. All interactions are really important for me to grow this channel and make sure that I keep it going and continue to bring you good content. So thank you for those who have subscribed already. So over the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, the first 3 episodes, we've really focused in on autism as it pertains to my son's diagnosis, what we've learned about the gut and the impact on the gut and food for our son, and how it's made a huge difference to us. So I hope you've enjoyed those. We're going to step away a bit from autism for now. I will be bringing more episodes on our life and different things that you can look at from an autistic or neurodiverse perspective. But I am stepping away now from that part of our lives and stepping into a couple of interesting topics coming up next. I really wanted to break that up with something a little bit more on, the funny side. Funny haha maybe, but for some people it's quite serious, and for me was for quite a long time and has been for a while. Before we get into the next 2 topics, which will be about adoption and our story and our journey on that, and then after that will be a deep dive into colored culture and how that part of our nation came to be and has grown and built this very diverse mix of people in it and how it came to be. If you see the title of the episodes, it says, "It's just hair," isn't it? Right? It's just hair, right? As a colored woman with very curly hair, and one of the few with this hair type in my family, for the longest time, my hair was a burden and I had to wrangle it myself, and we'll go through all of that. But when you tie South African history and cultural significance of hair and political significance of hair, my relationship with my hair was determined before I was born. And that seems like odd to say, but let me get into the history of it. While doing my research, I came about this paper, which is called The Social Semiotics of Hair Reconstructing Cape-Colored South African Female Identities and the Transition. It's published out of the University of the Western Cape. The world's relationship with hair and how it's used hair as a tool against people, and its impact is really very far-reaching. You have coverings like you see with the Taliban. When you see the Native Americans, what they did was they took these kids and they tried to divorce them from their cultures. So what they did was they used to shave their heads. They also did that to slaves. It really was a way of stripping people of their identity. And then some of it was in power and glory. We have, if you watched Good Hair, you'll see Indian women selling their hair. It's a religious thing to shave off their hair. Very religious Jewish ladies will shave their head and they'll wear a wig, and there's significance around that. So there is really, depending on their society, where hair becomes either a tool of power or, it's a tool of power either way, whether it's negative or positive, where it makes you feel powerful and have glory and show reverence, or it can be used as a tool to put you down and define your beauty and also, your class in society. So it really does have socio-cultural, economic and political values at the disposal for those in power. And South Africa was not devoid of using this as one of its tools during the apartheid era for classification, which I'll get into in the episode about, the colored culture. But looking at it says, apartheid with segregation through race unwittingly made hair one of the separating factors. And if you are somebody that has grown up in South Africa during that time or post that time, there would be a concept of the pencil test that people would talk about. So You put the pencil in the hair, and it was you white if it falls right through, you colored if it fell but stumbled along the way, and you black if it just got stuck. Now, growing up in the community that I did, all those things could happen with everybody that I knew, but it was one of the factors that they used. So even if you had straight hair, but your skin was darker and your surname was this, or your name was that, that was a culmination of factors. And I'll speak about it in the upcoming episode, how hard it became, especially when looking at the colored culture. So the pencil test and whether you are classified as black, white, or colored, that then became a tool which would determine your privilege, your freedom, and your beauty. And therefore became the way we defined ourselves, and seeking mechanisms to be as acceptable and tame that part of ourselves. To be determined as privileged, as free, and as beautiful, you need to subdue that part of you. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So in a book called Colored, which I've read in preparation for the episode coming up, it's a very a good read, but at times it's heartbreaking, and other times it's super informative and connective for someone who is colored. And then for someone who isn't, it really gives you a deeper dive into a society that you might live outside of. It was a great read. I'll put the link to the book in the show notes. So in that book it says, our notions of what makes good hair, or so-called colored hair, are rarely subjected to the critique of why we value it so. Even as we try to move away from the merits attributed to straight hair, citing ease and convenience rather than acknowledging the overtly political statement it is to wear your hair naturally in an environment where the past white supremacy still casts a long shadow. Most of that I agree with. And what then happens is that within a community, there used to be a class structure. And if you had hair like mine, you were seen as lower class. And you were seen as not beautiful. So now that the history lesson is over, because that was the deep part of it. So for me, I feel like my hair has had a story and life of its own. It has its ups and downs. It didn't know itself, didn't know where to go, had to find itself. It was influenced by others and went down some dark paths at some stage until it found its way back home to what it was naturally. This sounds serious, but really it has been on a journey. And where I find myself now is strangely happy, comfortable place with my hair. My hair found the love of its life, and that's where we find ourselves today. In my household, we have my white European, he hates it when I say that, but he was born in Europe. He identifies as South African and not white. But, I have my husband. He does have curly hair, but not my curls. They're different. My son, he's like a little bit beige, also curly hair, my hair. And then we have a black daughter who has very fine afro hair. Beautiful, but very fragile. So I've been on a journey with her to how to take care of her hair, because it's so different from anybody else's. Well, all of our hair is so different from each other. Though my husband have any hair on his head, he just shaves it. What I really wanted to do with her was not have her go through a 25-year journey to get to love her hair and feel okay with it like I had to. So in an effort to kind of shortcut that, we speak about her hair in a very specific way. And this might all seem weird, but it's so important. Oh, baby, your hair looks so beautiful today. whether it is in an afro, whether it's in braids, whether it's in cornrows. I absolutely love how changing her hair changes her face, changes her attitude, and she just become more confident about what she wants to do with her hair. So I don't want her to have the relationship I had with my hair, and that's been really important. My hair story, I might touch it a bit more today because, it's central. Every day I wake up, it decides what it wants to do with itself. This morning it did somewhere. I tried some new brush. It's supposed to be the brush for curly hair. I don't like it. No, I don't like it at all. My early years. I was born into a family with a mother and a sister with straight black Indian style hair. So as a kid, my hair was curly, very light, with some red in it. I was also quite light-skinned, that people used to joke that I was the milkman's kid. But, if you see us all together now, I look like my sister, I look like my dad, so there's no mistaking it. Maybe if I find this early picture, I can put it up so you can kind of see how different it looked. I mean, having a kid like me, and you might wonder where the hair comes from. My grandmother was the product of a colored lady in Oudtshoorn with a Afrikaner farmer. So this hair, if we really go down to it, is from the Dutch side, because everybody else in the family has straight black hair. Because my mother didn't grow around it, she didn't really have knowledge on how to deal with my hair. Her mum's hair was always in a scarf, which means that as I was growing, we were learning together what to do with my hair. She had to put in the hard work to learn how to deal with my hair. If I think about it, most of my cousins on both sides of the family, my mom's and my dad's, have straight hair. So I was really an anomaly with having this hair. Think. My aunt has curlish hair, Auntie Rhea, but generally everybody had straight hair. So there was nobody she could go to in the family to kind of get some tips and tricks, right? So when I was a kid, she shaved my hair. She shaved my hair. And it grew back. It looked awful. And I'll put a picture up of that, if you can see it. It grew back as a diamond, people. Because, when you have curly hair, it doesn't, like my husband says, if he grows his hair out, it grows up straight, before it comes down. Well, mine grew into a diamond before it found its way down. Went through that. I'm fine, not traumatized at all. Then we used to have Sunday hair wash day. And I think that's very common across many families. And this was the day that my mom washed, brushed, and blew out my hair. And if you know my hair, one drop of water and it's shot. It is literally curling up as we speak. What do people say? My hare het huis toe gegaan. My hair went home in English. Doesn't translate that well, does it? Then later on, we used to use the Sundays also to straighten my hair. So it wasn't every Sunday. We used to sit outside. I used to sit in the bath. My sister was playing around and my mom was straightening my hair. And you know that smell of hair straightener? When I smell it today, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get out of here. I need some air. And we were outside and it still affected me. What this did was it made my hair more manageable, which I can understand, and like kind of controlling its affinity for moisture, basically. So in the documentary Good Hair, Paul Mooney says, when your hair is relaxed, white people relax. If your hair is nappy, they're not happy. I thought that was really funny. And as a result, we're putting sodium hydroxide into our hair to get everybody else to be relaxed. Oh my word, the strangeness of it. And that's what I'm saying, it's deeper than just hair, right? Years later, Zaini, my sister, we always sit around and we'll have a fat chat at a lunch, at a celebration, Eid, whatever. And we had this conversation about how one side of her head, of her hair was thinner and was more closer and straighter and sat closer to her face, because when my mom was done kind of doing my hair, my sister would be to the side and she'd just kind of wipe it on her. And that was clearly the side that she got it every time, because that's the side that was affected. And I thought that was just hilarious, like why she would do that. Obviously, I was the only one in the family straightening her hair. And my poor mom had to go through this, learn how to handle my hair and get it to be tamer and more manageable, really more manageable for her, really for me. But it does start to make you feel a certain way about your hair, right? It's a burden. My poor mom had to find a way to deal with my hair, had to find a way so that, we get up early, we get to school, she's not wrangling my hair, and I understand that. So even though I was the one having my hair straightened, it was a bonding experience. We'd sit outside, we'd have our chats, and I think that's how everybody experiences those Sunday wash days. But mine was just a bit different because I was the only one in the family having to have her hair straightened. My mom is and I don't need to qualify this, that she's a great mom. But regardless of what she was trying to do to help me and herself, there was really always going to be a fractured relationship between me and my hair. Because once you go out into the world, you realize that it's being used as a class distinction and a beauty distinction, and that had really nothing to do with those Sundays. I do think for me a pivotal moment came when we actually broke down in a hairdresser. My mom had taken me to a hairdresser. They had hot oil treatment on my hair. It's the first time I've ever heard of this. And I sat there in rollers. Rollers. What an experience. Rollers for a very long time under that heat, sitting there. I was the only one. They had gone to go shopping. They had left me there because it was going to take a while. I realized it was going to take a while because my hair takes longer to dry. And I just sat in that seat at the hairdresser and bawled my eyes out. I felt awful because to get my hair to even have a semblance for a very short period of time, like my sister, I had to go through this hours and hours of torture at the hairdresser, and this was going to be my life. And I bawled that day. It's not like when my mom said, "Do you want to go back?" I said no. I went back because the compliments and the way people interacted with me after that, I realized the difference, and I wanted people to continue to look and see me that way because my hair was straight. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. I was a tough kid. So for me to be bawling my eyes out and then connect the realization post that about people's reactions and the way people treated me was massive. And that moment just sits really ingrained in my mind. Then I started making a concerted effort to learn how to take care of my hair. And taking care of my hair was really code for taming it and getting it under control and getting it acceptable for people to keep treating me a certain way. When I went out and my hair got wet or at the taste of gegaan, I felt so uncomfortable. I couldn't be around people when something didn't look the way it looked when I left the house. It made me start to retract from people the moment my hair started getting curly or even started showing its true colors. And that's not the way you should feel about it. The idea I had in my head was that my hair was speaking about me before a word came out of my mouth. Think about that. Think about how you perceive people, how you make a once-off judgment on somebody. But that's the way I feel people were looking at me. For me, at that stage, if it was natural, it said unprofessional, not beautiful, wild, and a deciding factor between being considered rich and poor. How ridiculous is that? I think it still happens. The girls who were defined as pretty generally had straight hair. There was this one girl that was at our school, and she was stunning, and she had curly hair, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand it. It was a natural curl. It wasn't like mine. It was like almost like a straight curl. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you straighten your hair or you like take the GHD and you make the curls. It was that vibe. And I think that made it more palatable. But I wanted to know how she did it. Because that was always a defining part of which group you were put in and how you were interacted with and perceived by the people around you. So my hair was doing the most, eh? It was doing the most. And for me, I was making sure that this wasn't what I showed the world. But then my journey, I had worn my hair natural every once in a while. But, you know, at the stage when I said that I learned how to take care of my hair, it was really how to blow it out, roll it in, make it straight. Right? And in the shortest amount of time, I mean, when I started, it was an hour and a half mission for me to blow out my hair. By the time I abandoned such things, it was 30 minutes. So it was really, even at that stage, it was getting the right hairdryer, which was 100 watts, nothing below 2000, because then my hair wouldn't dry perfectly and it would look atrocious. Secondly, having the right round brush. That was very important. And thirdly, not to sweat while you're blowing out your hair, because all your hard work goes up in smoke, swirling your hair. You have to swirl your hair. You have to have the right swirl coats. And if you lose your good swirl coats, damn it, you feel like, you know, you've lost your best friend. And I learned all that. But I didn't know how to take care of my hair when it was natural. The journey back to my natural hair started with one meeting. Who could this person be? It was my husband. So to be clear, the person that got me to connect with my natural hair and encourage me to figure out the right products and brushes and things that I put on my hair was my European white husband. Go figure. At some stages, like, my hair was a nest, and he said, well, if you're going to struggle with it, you're not going to like it. So you need to find the right things. Speaking the truth, that guy. So now I had to go on a new journey of how to take care of my natural hair. It's an everyday roll of the dice, eh? I get up, I wash my hair, not wash my hair, I wet my hair every day. I put products in it every day. I do not sleep with bonnets. I've tried the silk. I actually think there's silk pillowcases on my bed now. I've tried the silk bonnet. I've tried many things to kind of go, well, I don't want to wash my hair every day. I don't want to put product. I want to like do it once every 3 days. This hair wants to be rinsed and put product in every day. It don't like next day hair. It almost feels like somebody else's hair or a wig on me if I go with next day hair. 100%. And if I leave it a little bit longer, it becomes so tangled, I can't deal with it. Okay. Feel like my problem, not your problem. Gotten to the point now with how far I've come with reconnecting with my hair is that like 3 times a year I go dye my hair, because we're at that age now, no? Where the grey is right there all the time. It comes back all the time. But I go, I have my hair colored, have a treatment, and then I generally do blow out my hair, and these weeks are generally the worst for my husband. He hates he hates, hate is a strong word. He's not fond of my hair when it's straight. He says it takes away my personality, which I think is very cute. He actually has given me an alter ego called Emily. And there's some people, and I know you're listening, Mandy, who also doesn't like Emily. Because apparently when Emily is around, she's passive aggressive. And she's not a really nice person. I don't know. We're the same person. I don't understand. But okay. It's quite long. So my hair curls quite, so if you go, well, that's the hair kind of, and you do this, then it's quite long when it is straight. And it feels like a lot of hair. It feels more than when I have my hair like this. It gets irritating, honestly. So it's gotten to that point that after like 2 days, I'm done with it. I want my hair curly, but generally I've paid enough money, then I'll keep it a bit longer. But it irritates me and it just gets everywhere. I don't understand. This hair doesn't get everywhere like that hair. It is the same hair. I understand. I'll put a picture of my hair when it's straight, so you guys can see like lengthwise and what I mean. But it just feels like a lot. Okay. I went through this process where, I was hating my hair. I had to find the right product. I found the right products. They got discontinued. I found the right brushes. I got my routine. People always laugh with me when they see me covering my head as I go out in the rain. They're like, but your hair's wet already. And I'll go, do you want my hair to be fuzzy? Because that's going to happen. This hair doesn't know about it's wet. Or if I go in the rain and I've got product on and it's not completely dry, the product will go out and then I'm stuck with Diana Ross hair. That's what I call it. Because I like my hair, but I don't like it that big. And that kind of like feels like it's like everywhere. Okay, so we like it like this. With going through that experience, when we adopted our daughter, you have these online learning modules that you have to go through, and one of them is on the hair, which I think is brilliant. But naively, like when they were interviewing us, they were like, so how are you going to learn? So I said, oh, well, I've been on a journey with my hair. I'm sure, we'll go on a journey with her. And we did. Her hair is very fine and easily damaged. So you have to be using the right tools, which is the brush. We tend to keep her hair in cornrows or in braids so that it can grow and it doesn't break as easily, because she's not really at the stage yet, which she's really, really trying to manage how to brush her hair properly without breaking it. And we really want to build up that confidence with dealing with her own hair. She's just turned 11, so we're really just working it. She has a very dry scalp. She's got eczema in her scalp. We've just found a beautiful product on that. I mean, we have gone to the doctor. We have tried crocodile oil, which works perfectly if she just remembers to use it. But this latest product, it's a Cantu product. Brilliant. And her scalp is not as dry. Again, very specific to what she needs and what her scalp needs, right? We tried to keep her hair as natural as possible. We had to have a discussion of when we would start doing braids. She gets very creative with her braids. She and her nanny does her braids, which we are forever grateful for, Lizzie. So she puts cornrows in. She'll do braids. At the moment, she's got these beautiful braids with like purple, bits in it. And she wanted the curls at the end, which I was like, she wants curls like a mom. The way she expresses herself through her hair, I just love it. I absolutely love it. She has this great connection with the hair. So we come to the lessons learned part. What is the learning here to get to be comfortable with your own hair and go on this journey? Because I've seen people go through this journey and start with kind of, where the curls have completely gone and they need to kind of work through it and get to a very beautiful curl. I've seen some girls go through. But there's a couple of things you need to understand and remember as you're going on this journey. You are going to hate your hair at the start. It's your nemesis. It's something you've been avoiding for a very long time. It's something that you're not going to be comfortable with. You're going to feel a very many ways about it. You've been indoctrinated to feel that, oh, it's a very harsh word, eh? You've been made to feel this way, or made to feel a certain way about it. People talk about learning to love yourself and your body. The same goes with your natural hair. You're going to have to learn to unlearn the things you think about your hair, because you're going to be uncomfortable. I can guarantee you that. But it is a journey, and you need to take the first step if this is what you want to do. Get the right brush. If you are fighting with your hair all the time, you will have a negative relationship with it. If it feels like it's a mission, maybe look at the tools that you're using for your hair. Tools are important for anything that you need to do, including your hair. I currently use I use the wet tangle teaser because it doesn't feel like I'm pulling my hair out. I have had the GHD paddle brush in the past. I used to love that. I did pull on my hair more than this one does. Because I wash my hair every day, I do use the wet one. Okay, I've had 2 of them. They're brilliant. They don't have the cushiony thing that the GHD one has. There's no one separate part to the brush, so nothing really comes apart, and that's why I've kept it for so long. Brilliant. 3, understand what your hair needs. My hair is the next spinny, yeah, because she needs divine products, which are from Italy, that are stocked by Carlton Hair and Complete Hairdressing Supplies. I'll put the link in the show notes. Any other product makes my hair feel stringy. It feels like it has a layer of product after a couple of days. I'll put the products in the show notes. My hair doesn't feel hard, it's still very soft. I think that surprises a lot of people when they touch my hair. It is very soft. I've tried other things. I've tried the sorbet one. There was a yellow one that I tried. All of those ones you can get at Clicks. My hair, if I'm using the wrong product, starts to feel very steel woolish. When I wash my hair, it feels awful with the Divine products because I have the curling cream underneath and the mousse. When I wash my hair, it feels soft as I'm washing it, and that's what I like. So I want the right nourishment and I want the right moisture for my hair. And I want it to feel good when I'm washing it and when it's drying. So now there's no crunch in my hair, right? It's still, I think my niece once said, it always looks like your hair's wet, but it doesn't feel crunchy. Growing up, I used to use the Colgate conditioner to curl my hair. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The egg white one, the one in the yellow bottle. And that was the best thing when I was growing up. I used to love it. My hair used to love it. I wasn't curling my hair every day, so the punishment for a short period of time was okay, and I didn't get to the point where I was like, okay, this is the incorrect product for what I'm trying to do here. So I've used hair gels, the argan oil. I just don't like the way my hair feels after. I just don't like it. Mousse has really worked. Mousse has been, sorry, I'm laughing in my head. We have a friend that we call Mousse, but no, this is Mousse the cream, not the animal or Mike. Mousse has been the best for me. I don't really need to use a lot of this mousse for it to get my hair where I need it to be. I've been on my own journey with mousse, and some of this is going to be like, I'm a crazy person. I don't like mousse that feels watery, okay? Because then you have to use more of it. It needs to be quite dense. You need to have one pump of it, and it should go all over your head, and that should be enough, so your product lasts longer. I have had 3 or 4 times over the last 20 years. Is it 20 years? Yes, it's 20 years since I started this journey, where they've just stopped making the product I was using and it went off the market. And I have to start from scratch. Another big thing that I've learned is that quantity that I use on my hair will get it to do the thing I want it to or not. It's a formula that you need to get to. You know, one small pump of this, one big of the mousse, and then you get to where you're comfortable with, this is my combination that works for me. So you need to work on your formula. But until you get there, you might not like the result until you find the combination that is the result that you love. Still, after this 20 years, my hair doesn't curl the same way every day. It just doesn't. It does its own thing. I just have to admire what nature has decided is going to be what my hair looks like today. And I just have to roll with it. And because I've gotten to a level of comfort with my hair, I've understood this and I'm okay with it. So work with your hair. It's important to remember that it is a journey. Commit if you want to transition to your natural hair, and there will come a day on your journey where you will be somewhere and someone, not your husband, because he's always complimenting the hair, because he never wants me to straighten it. Someone will compliment your hair and go, I just love your curls. I love your curls. Why am I whispering it? I love your curls. They're gorgeous. Or, I wish my hair could still do that. Your hair is so beautiful. What do you use in it? And you'll be shy because you think people are talking about your hair. And that's not okay normally, because they're getting attracted to something that you've tried to avoid and shy away from. And then you realize that somebody's complimenting your hair and you won't have the words. And I'm telling you now, just say thank you. I appreciate that. Because I was dumbstruck the first time it happened to me. People are not supposed to compliment my hair. It's supposed to be the bane of my existence. It's supposed to be seen as ugly. When I used to go for interviews, I still straightened it because I didn't want people to see me in my natural state. I don't care now. You either take this or you don't. For people with hair like ours, it's going to be a journey either way you decide, right? Is that fair? You have to learn how to take care and get your hair straight, keep it in a perfect condition so it doesn't fly away, so moisture doesn't affect it. Same with my curly hair. You have to learn how to take care of it. You have to learn what works with it. Straight or curly is a concept that we need to understand, and it's a concept that we need to learn. So do not apply it differently from straight to curly. It's what we have to do either way, and that's something that I had to learn. So either way you commit, right? I'm lucky now at this stage because I can have my hair straight 2-3 times a year, and I'm okay with that. But then I go to somebody professional and they do it for me because I can't do it anymore because it's not my norm, and that's fine. But I committed one way. I know how to take care of it either way now. I didn't before because it wasn't the priority. So you need to decide what you can connect with, what you're going to be happy with, and then, do you, boo. It's as easy as that. Easy. She says, after 20 years, the world is more full of content of people going through these journeys, talking about what they put on their hair, the curly haircut, the Kado cut, all these types of things. There's hairdressers that kind of cut and teach you how to take care of you walk out with your curl looking better. I mean, there's this woman I follow, and I'll put her on here and I'll link her, and she's just magnificent how those girls look afterwards. There are different curl types. I'll put it here so you get to see it. I don't know what it means, but that sounds weird. I actually don't. People say, oh, my curl is this. Okay, well, it looks a certain way. Okay, so I see that. But I don't think it pertains to what you put on the hair and how you treat the hair, the tools you use, and the products that you use. It's not like I see somebody with my type hair and that our hair will accept the same things, right? I don't think so. I haven't tested the theory. I have given my products to a couple of people who were struggling with their hair journey. I'd like have to share with people, because it's so hard to look at it and go and find something in those hair care aisles. But, I found things and I've tried things and I'm happy to share with people. I hope this has been fun to learn, that it's been, informative, that if you're deciding to go on this journey, please ping me, get into the comments, ask any questions. If you've gone through this journey, can you share your tips and tricks down below with the audience and get them to see what you've done? Maybe I'll learn something new. I'm always learning something new. And have fun on this journey. And remember, your hair is a part of who you are. It's not the defining factor of who you are. I hope that helps. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. See you next week. Bye.